I think as companies get and more mature, the customer strategy influences the business strategy.
What do you wish people who are outside of user experience, what do you wish they knew or they understood a little bit better that maybe they just don't?
I think that I would like people to understand a couple of things. One, that it's okay for designers to push people out of their comfort zone and that they shouldn't feel so threatened by it. And threatened is the wrong word. They shouldn't feel uncomfortable by what they see. They should embrace it and find out how to bring it even better and quicker to life. There are times where I've seen design teams create something that feels or has been called visionware, right? How do you get people inspired about an end state? And I've heard, how do we make this real? How we take it from what this design concept or prototype is requires a product management team to collaborate, to write stories, to figure out how we break this down into different iterations and different versions to get there. It requires an engineering team to deeply understand what we can do technologically and push back on what is realistic, what isn't realistic, and then have those conversations around time versus speed to market, level of effort, cost of what it's going to take to bring it to life, what we expect the outcome to be for the people that use the product plus the business. And I want that open, constant dialogue. I like to call it internally on the design side, creative conflict. It's just each team holding each other accountable for the best outcomes for our customers. And that level of ambiguity seems to be more comfortable for a lot of designers than it is for other people. I want them to embrace and have the trust that like we're not off going wild. It's very collaborative, and the end state is we don't know when the end state is, and things will change between there. Let's find ways to break that down. I think that's the first thing that like would be great for people to know. The second thing for people to know is focusing on the outcomes for the customer will lead to the business value, right? You can't just say, okay, here's a business idea. We've now created a solution. Now we need to go find problems that match the solution. Let's deeply understand the people and what provides value to them so that they can decide then, okay, I like this company. They're meeting my needs. I will give them my money. And sometimes we don't always start there. And I was having another conversation yesterday with a few folks, and you often hear there's a corporate strategy or a business strategy, and then that translates to a product strategy. You hear that when you're on a product team. When you're on a sales team, you hear there's a corporate strategy, and it has to lead to a sales strategy. You hear on the marketing team, corporate strategy, marketing strategy. And when you look at that and everyone goes off and tries to tackle or translate that strategy in their own way, everyone's going in different directions, the arrows of chaos, right? So the way I look at it is you actually need a corporate strategy, and then you can't win with any other single strategy. You need a customer experience strategy to ground that so that every other group is going in the same direction, solving the same problem for the same type of customer, so that the experience is as seamless as possible. Because if we're all looking at a journey and everyone's tackling a different piece of it, it's not going to be the same. So like when someone's on our homepage and they see a message and they submit a lead and then the salesperson calls them and they've got a different goal that they're going after, they're having a different conversation than the person's used to, and then they use the product and it doesn't match and they get an email from marketing. How do we understand where they are from that life cycle, or think about it from a service design lens or service and experience lens, to really make sure that we're aligned to not create more swirl for our customers? Those are the hot things that I wish people knew or are top of mind at the moment.
Sure. So let me ask you, what comes first, business strategy or customer experience strategy?
So I think it depends on the maturity of the organization. I think that it's really important for most organizations to have a very clear business strategy. And I think that there's a lot of places that don't have it. I think that in places I've worked in the past, we've struggled. We're getting the business strategy in the middle of like Q1 or at the end of Q1 for the year. Companies all need a business strategy. They need a charting of the course of the ship to be able to align on what problems are important for our customers, for our business. I think as companies get and more mature, the customer strategy influences the business strategy. It takes a little bit of time to get there and a little bit of trust to be earned because companies hire people familiar with the business, familiar with the market, familiar with the problem, and they're there to drive that ship. And then at some point they start to say, okay, now I need more input. Now what I thought got us so far, now what else is going to change? What else do we have to think about? And that's when the customer experience strategy will influence the business strategy. But I'm okay with it tying that together to get everyone else aligned when you need it. I don't want to call it a wrapper, but it's the right wrapper of merging those business and customer problems at the same time and challenges.
So what are some tactics that you have seen or used to tie those two together, the customer experience and or customer experience strategy and the business strategy?
I think research is key. There's different types of research. There's understanding our users, there's understanding our customers, there's understanding their sentiment, but there's also understanding the market and trends and challenges that are coming and understanding how your brand is positioned in the market, right? All of those pose different challenges. Companies at the end of the day, their goal is to be profitable, right? Unless they're a nonprofit and then they've got goals to solve a specific need, but also maintain enough capital to keep the business running. So at the end of the day, it is down to like finance, but they realize that that finance is generated based on the outcomes that they deliver to the market, to the people. Another one is just it's conversation, it's collaboration, right? It's coming with different lenses and vision.
Check out all my interviews with industry leaders on BlatzChatz.